Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Factorio tutorial. My name is Root Negative and let's get cracking. Today we're going to have a chat about station designs and pathfinding in Factorio. Now this video has come about because of some comments that I've received on Factorio Break the Game 160, and it's all about my working station design. So to refresh your memory, let's have a look at it. Okay, so we've got we've got the unloads and whatnot, and we've got some stackers. Basically, the trains drive into the station and then reverse out. Now, there's been quite a few comments, most of them negative, about how I'm a dodo, how I don't know how to play a game, and how I don't know what I'm talking about. So I thought that it was time that I showed you guys some of the theory behind it. It's a little bit heavy, so be warned, this won't be the most exciting video. However, there is always a chance I'll get run over by a train, so if you want to see that, stick around, because it might happen. But let's move on to the comments that I received. I'd like to read one for you. This one's from Baron Scott, who always leaves the time to comment on the game and on my videos. So here we go. Honestly, your station design is poor. I would go for about 8 stations that are roll on, roll off. Any seasoned player of Open Transport Tycoon Deluxe would tell you that. Buffering the trains is a dumb idea. Whilst they sit there, you could be unloading them. So the method I would use is roll on, roll off. 8 stations each with 1 train buffer before and after. Now let's paraphrase a little bit. He goes on to talk about a little bit else, and I understand that you hate loops, but your solution doesn't work any better. Okay. Now, what I've got here is I have a mocked up loop space system. Okay, this is very, very basic, very, very shrunk in size, but I want to be able to show you on one screen without having to build a massive system or be running around how this actually works. Okay, so I've got one train that is in the network and is coming to an unloading station. Okay, this is an unloading station. We'll just throw some inserters down. So it comes here, gets unloaded, and then returns to the network. Then we've got 2 other trains that are just in the network. Okay, so this loop around the outside is just the network. This one here is our station. So this is simulating, we've got some trains that are just in the network, they're going to be circulating, and then we've got a train that's actually in your station. Let's set them running. Let's set them going. Let's see what happens. So you might think, yeah, okay, fair enough. And at the moment, everything's working nicely. You see the trains moving around, the signals are going to determine who goes where and who does what, and then suddenly, what the fuck are you doing? Notice that this train isn't actually scheduled to go to this station. So what happens is that, let's show the rail paths. What happens is in a roll on, roll off, so what's called a row, where the trains roll on and then roll off, your station actually gets used as part of the pathfinding. Why is this a problem? Well, it's going to hold up the unloading. You're going to have these stray trains running through your station, and as your train system gets bigger, the less control you're going to have and the more of a problem it's going to become. Okay, I think it was, how many did I release? I think I'm going to end up with about 90 trains, I think, on my network. 90 trains. So, yeah, sure, you get good throughput, and I'll come to that point as well in a moment. But you lose control of the pathfinding. And let me give you an example, right? In my factory, well, frames, or lack thereof, far out. Let me just always show train paths off. Okay, let me show you an example of if these were rows. Okay, say this was the inflow track. Okay, and this was the outflow track. Okay, so things here to here. Oil is located here. Now, the biggest problem would be, okay, I've got oil here. What happens if I have an oil well over here? Oh, look, I do. There it is. Trains are going to try and drive through my station. Okay, and I'm going to need roughly 20 or 30 trains, like oil trains. So I'm going to have 20 or 30 oil trains that will probably pretty much guaranteed go through this station to get to their oil, because that's going to be the quicker path than, say, going down and around and then up. Okay? And you might say, oh, you know, there's ways of avoiding it, but this is my entire point of why I don't use loops-based systems. It just involves a level of thinking that really I've got better things to think about. Like, to plan this out, to get this to work, would require you to design not just a portion of your network, but your entire network around the idea that trains use stations, or will use your stations as part of the network. You know, one potential solution would actually be to drop a station out there, okay, use this as unloading, and then make sure that every single one of your network tracks is then inside of that, or a shorter distance, which, yeah, no, screw that. That's horrible. So that's a problem with the pathfinding, and this is in Factorio, okay? Transport Tycoon Deluxe pathfinding works completely different. So you need to use the pathfinding that's in the game, not the pathfinding from another game. Okay, whilst Transport Tycoon Deluxe can teach us a lot, it can't teach us everything because the games are different. So you might say, oh, but the throughput. The throughput is what's important. Roros have the best throughput, and you're a chump. You know, the terminus station, okay, head in, tail out, whatever you want to call them, is vastly inferior when it comes to throughput. Okay, let's have a chat about that. This is the standard setup for a Roro station, okay? You have signal on the input, signal on the output, and normally the signal is directly after the stop. Now, ooh, I nearly got run over. Yeah, I got my own new train. Okay, so I've transposed that up here. This is where the signal would be if this was a Roro, if this was, you know, going off in this direction. But it's not, it's terminus. So the thing that determines how much you can get through a station, or the throughput, the volume, the thing that determines it is not the configuration, it is the signal. I'll say that again, it's not the configuration, it's the signal. Because it's the signals that determine how quickly a train can enter or leave the station. I've actually just thought of something. Let me come down here. Come down here for a second. Yeah, okay. You would design it like that. Now, we'll just delete that. Now, what we've got is we've got this train moving around, okay? It's in the station. And what's going to happen is this train is going to wait here before moving in. The thing that determines how soon it can move in is when the signal changes. And what determines how quickly the signal changes is its location. The configuration isn't ultimately important, it's where this signal sits. So the signal that is on the outflow. So you see that here, this signal is directly after the train stop. So if we were to take that, the signal would be about here. This would be the signal in a Roro. However, the thing is that because we're not using it, this signal, it's just a little bit further away. So it's about 1, 2, 3 to 4 blocks further away. Now you might say, yeah, okay, there it is. It's better. It's better. Roros are better because higher throughput. That's 3 to 4 blocks. So we're talking half a train length. Half a train length. Now I'll also show you something else. Oh, actually, I'll just do it out of locomotives because I've got them in my inventory. My trains are 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I need a bigger track. Basically, they're 10 long, okay, my trains. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that's the length of one of my freight trains. So what you're saying, or what Roros give you, is exactly that much extra throughput out of that. So basically, what ends up happening is you get this much train, okay, this much train extra, at expense of having things run through your stations. So basically, the choice here is Okay, fine. We give up 3/4 of a one carriage. We'll give that up in terms of our throughput, and we will control the pathfinding. That's what this decision is. So I hope this has been somewhat educational. If you have some thoughts, if you have some comments, please do leave them. I love the conversations around train design because it always brings out the worst in people. They always seem to be the biggest flame wars. Keep it constructive where you can, because at the end of the day, I think we're all trying to get better, and I hope this explains some of the behind the scenes that are going on and some of the thinking that I've done behind designing the train network and some of the thinking that others have done in designing their train networks to make them work under the pathfinding in Factorio. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.